Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to make links on a page, what tags we need to use. Find my pointer. All right. So when we're writing a link, there is a tag to use, and this is the A or anchor tag. And when you use an anchor tag, you can click anywhere between the opening and closing of the tag, and then the link will take you to the page. And how do we specify where we want to go with the link? We use the href attribute, and that's where we specify where to go. So in this case, if I click on this link, it's going to take me to the IMDb database or website. So this is the actual link, and then the words here, the text, the inner HTML between the opening and the closing tags is going to show what is displayed to the user. So that's what the user on the page is going to see. All right. So let's go ahead and code up something, just a link to start with. Let's see. Is there anyone who does not have brackets? I think I have it. Let's check here. Is everyone able to use brackets? Otherwise, I have an alternative. All right. You don't have it? Zik, do you have brackets?
This computer's not working.
So why don't you move to the next one?
Yeah,
Also not working? There must be one. So I would like you to move so you can try to participate in the class. If these two are not working, this one might work. Let's try this one. Okay, so if you don't have brackets, that's not great, but you should all have, well, I'm going to assume that at least you have Notepad, right? So if you don't have brackets, you can use Notepad, and then it's going to be the same. It won't be giving you any hints or color help, but you can use Notepad, and then the same thing, just save your file as, instead of the text, you have to say all files, and then you can test.html, for example. And so let me show you here. I'm going to do this in brackets, in Notepad. And okay, so there's just a different editor now. Again, you should not use Microsoft Word, for example, or Google Docs, because they add certain formatting that adds additional elements to the page that you don't want. So you want to stay with a plain text editor such as Notepad, all right? Not Microsoft Word. But just this is going to work fine just as brackets. It's just not going to give us some helpful hints here. Okay, so go ahead and use whichever one you want. I'll do this in brackets sorry, I'm typing and I'm going to do this in Notepad, but you can do whichever one you want. Okay. Who remembers if we use a title, where does it show? On the tab, or if there is only one window on the window of the page. All right. Okay, again, I'm talking, but here we go. This needs to go in the head. So the title is going to be part of the head tag. And then in the body,
You want us to type this and start?
yes, please, yes. Go ahead and type this. We're going to add our new tag, A. So anchor tag, so A. And then href is the attribute that we use to specify the URL where we want the link to go. In this case, www.imdb.com. You have to put this in quotation mark. With attributes, you put the value in quotation marks, and then you close the opening tag, Then we're going to put the word IMDb and then close the anchor tag. If you're on a Mac, there is a text edit program that should work as well. Okay, so save. Finish up typing on your. Okay, so we have written this file and saved it. And I set mine on the desktop. All right, so we can upload it, but we can also do something like that. Normally it wouldn't do this, what it's doing right now. All right, but you can say open with, and then you can say to open it with a browser. So I'm going to choose Google Chrome here. This is all on my local machine. And actually it's going to look just like when you uploaded it. It's not a link you can share. If you look up here, the URL is going to start, instead of with HTTP, it's going to start with file. So there's just on your local machine. The look is exactly the same, but you can't send the link to me, for example, or to someone else. But this is a file, it would look the same as online. And now if I click here, it's going to take me to the IMDb page. So this was the link that we just added. So I'd like everyone to try this. And again, also we see that we can use, if we don't have anything else, you can use Notepad. One other thing I would like you all to do, please go to the File Explorer, and then under View, let me magnify this again. Okay, so File Explorer, View, and I would like you to check file name extensions and hidden items, because by default, Windows 10 is going to hide some files that we work with. So we want to see those and go ahead and enable. All right, so we just created the simplest link possible. And now go ahead and add a couple more links to your page to add 2 links to 2 websites where you like to go to. And I'll open my page now from brackets since I have it. But if you don't have it, that should not stop you, because you can use Notepad. Yeah.
Do we have to separate each link by body open close tag, or can you do it within the same body tag?
You only have one body tag. That's a good question. So it will be all under the body tag.
You don't separate by break or paragraph?
We actually will. But go ahead and put them first, and then we're going to see, oh, actually that doesn't look very good, and let's see what we can do. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's add a couple more. Okay. So since the preview doesn't work, I put a ticket about this, but it has not been resolved. Doesn't work with Chrome. I'm just going to do what I showed you and preview by opening my file with Chrome from the desktop. It should not take this long. Usually it just takes a second. Something here is not working right. So now I have 3 links. They're all together, which is probably not what we want, but so here you can go to my site, maybe. Yeah.
When I try to put it through, nothing shows up. Does that mean I typed it in wrong?
Let me take a look and see. Yeah, I don't know, possibly. All right, so very slow, but so I can go to my site and then click back and then Seattle Central link, right? So let me take a look at this, and then maybe let's talk about what can we do so that we can display these on separate lines instead of on top together. This should work, or you have to put the close in HTML tag, so you have to, if you open HTML, you have to put
Oh, okay.
for this one. Are your links working? Okay. So one way we can make our links better is to put them in a list. They're actually maybe a list of links. So let's use our newly acquired skill of using lists. And so we're going to put, essentially wrap the anchor tag with the list item tag. And so let's say we want an unordered list, UL. So the list is going to contain all the links. And again, try to indent because it will help you out. For me, since my font size is big, sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't look as good as it might for you. And then the first one I'm going to open is a list item and close. And the same with the second one. And you can preview with any browser you like. As you know, right now I like using Chrome. So here is the new look. Now we have a list with links. All right, so let's see here. Today the connection seems to be slower than it has been. Do we know why? Or? Could be a number of different reasons why. Deal with it? What, there's nothing else you can do, really. Yeah, some of the machines are corrupted, so you have to go to a different one. Yeah. It looks like these two are not working, so I'll maybe try one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I should try that. Okay. All right, so this is the link. Again, the actual link that you want your page to link to is going to be part of the href attribute. So that's how you specify where the link will go. And this is the text that the user is going to click on. And the text can be anything. It doesn't have to be related meaningfully with the link, although, of course, it makes more sense than it is, but it doesn't have any impact. So if you get your link incorrect, then your link will not go there. But no matter what you put here, when the user clicks on it, they will go, as long as the link is correct. Okay? And don't forget the quotation marks around the link. You can also link, so for example, now that I showed you how to create an ordered list of, unordered list of links, now what you can do is on your index page, you can make a list of your assignments and put them in a list, and then you can keep on adding. So you can have your index.html can have assignment link to assignment 1, assignment 2, and so on. So the link is the same format, no matter if it's a URL, which is an absolute link, or if it's just a link to your own page on your own, in your own file system, right? The same way, for example, if I want to link to the index, I want to say ahref index.html and about, and because there is no protocol here, nothing else except just the name of the file, that means it's a local file, and also because there is no directory structure, it means it's in the same folder as the page we are going from, right? So we will do an example like this in a bit. So let's go back again and talk about the directory structure, because I would say that 40% of the problems I see, they have to do, something is not working, and it's because the directory structure is not captured correctly on your server. So for example, we can have an example arts folder, which has an index.html. And then inside the index.html, the example folder, we have subfolders for movies, DVDs. So 4 folders, and in each folder we can have its own index.html, that's fine. It's commonly done, in fact. And then you can have some other files. So let's say that from your root folder, so from your index.html, you wanted to link to the listings.html. So what would that look like, do you think? Maybe we haven't talked about it, so maybe I should just go ahead.
I mean, I would think it would be like example arts backslash index backslash DVD backslash index or listings, rather. Right?
All right, so it's going to be, you have to know where you are. So it's relative to where you are. So if we're in the root folder, then we're going to, from the root folder, then we're going to say slash, in this case, DVD. So that's the directory name or the folder name, and then slash, and whichever file we want. Let's say we want listings.
Would it be movies/DVD?
Oh, is there a movie?
Yeah, there's
Let's
a
see.
movie, so-
It's hard to see from here. Yeah, so exactly. That shows that there is the DVD is in the movies folder. From my angle, I thought they were all the same. Correct. So it would be movies/DVD/listings.html. Or any of the other files. So this is the root folder. Then we talk about which are the child folders. Again, we see here that example has several children folders. It has the movie and the theater are the example arts children folder, and they have subfolders as well, and music. From my angle, it looks different, but so the example arts has movies, music, and theater, which are its children. They're one folder down from the root folder. And then we talk that the folder that contains them, we also can refer to it as a parent folder. And you can even have a grandchild. So let's see here. So from the cinema, in the DVD, we can go to the cinema and DVD, but they are inside, I think they're inside the movies, so therefore they will be considered grandchildren.
Of example arts.
Of example arts. Yeah, it's always relative to something else. It's not an absolute thing, but relative to where you are. So you always have to ask yourself where you are. And so these would be relative URLs. If you're working with folders and pages on your server, then they're not absolute. You could, but that's not what we usually do. They're going to be relative, so you don't use HTTP, www. You just put the directory and the name of the file. All right. You only use the absolute URL like IMDb if you are linking to a page or a site that is not on your server. Okay, so if you wanted to get to the child of to the index in the music, it's going to be music/index.html. But more interesting than what if we wanted to get from, so this is where it seems to get confusing. What if we wanted to get from the music folder back to index.html? Then we need to climb out the music, right, and get to example arts. And the way we express this in HTML is by using ... So .. is going to make you, allow you to climb out of your directory and go one level up. And you can even have multiple slash. If you have to climb out of two folders, you can have ... such as here. So let's see. So the DVD is in the movies folder. So if I'm on the review page and I want to get to this index, it's going to have to be ... and then ... and then I can access index.
And that'd be like creating a link on that page to get us back to.
Yeah, which is very common. Pretty much it's common that you need to get to your home page from everywhere. So how do you do that? ... in this case. Okay, so let's practice this a little bit before we talk about how to create email links. To practice this, we're going to have to create more than one page. Okay, so what we can do is we can save as incredibly slow. So I'm going to go in the Web 110 folder I have, and then I'm going to save, let's say, about.html. So this is a pretty standard file, about.html, and then we're going to, let's make a change here so we know we're on the about page. About, and then in the body we're going to say about us, for example. In fact, go ahead and delete those sublinks for now. Okay, so it will just say about us, and then we'll save this file, and then save as, let's say, products.html. You want to keep those lowercase. And let's make one more. Contact us. Contact.html. Okay, and we're going to, let's also create, do we have an index.html? You already have one? Okay, so then maybe we can use the existing. If you don't have index.html, just save as index.html and make the changes. Or otherwise, let's go ahead and open index.html. And then let's go ahead and add some links here. Okay. So we can add the links at the top of the page. It doesn't really matter. Maybe down here for now. Normally the links are going to be on the top of your page. So I guess let's go ahead and put them here, in fact. And so again, is the same. So let me show you the folder. So in the folder, all the pages we created, they are in the same folder, right? Are you okay? Let me show you then, hang on. So we have a mirror process where what is on the local drive has to map to what's in brackets. And then when we upload, everything still has to match. So it's the same thing. We sort of have to match it so that everything works. Otherwise, things will break. So in my Web 110 folder, I have a Web 110 folder, and here I have I have 5 files, and we're going to work with them. And open index.html. Now
What did you do products and tests? Was that a different day?
the test was from last time, I think.
Oh, I saw it products.
I did products today.
Just now.
Yeah. You can make, so just make 2-3 files. You can name it whatever you want. And then we'll go back to the index. And we're going to use a UL, an ordered list. And here we're going to add links to as list items to those pages. And so if you're using brackets, when you say href equals, it's going to actually show you a menu of the files that are available to link so that you can select it from here. So I'm going to select products.html. If you're working with Notepad, you have to do this manually. And then I'll close the opening anchor tag. And then we have to add our text, so products. So now we have created a link to a local page called products. Yeah. Yeah. If you finished with this one list item, then you can save your program, save your page and preview and see if it works. So you can just stand by. So we're going to wait a few minutes for everyone to catch up. All right. So let's go get another couple more links to pages. So it will be the same thing. In fact, you can copy this line right here, or you can type it. If you feel like you need practice, type it by hand, but it's going to be exactly the same, except we need to change two things. So what do we need to change? Joel?
Names on both sides.
Right, so let's say that we want to about.html to link. So this will be about. And then we also want, copy this one more time. We said contact. Contact.html. And these are all inside the UL, the unordered list. So let me try this out and see. So we are in index.html. And sure enough, there are 3 links here. And if I go click on them, you always need to test your links, right? You don't want broken links, so make sure to test them to make sure they work. And contact, and there we go. And now we have these links.
Is there a limit how many directories you can load up?
Not in practical terms, I'm sure there is, but I mean, it would not look,
Yeah, I know.
if your site is so deep, you need to reorganize something, right? So let's try something else. So I guess, first of all, did everyone get this to work? Okay, all right, so another minute or so, and then we'll do something else. Is this working for you? You don't have to upload it, so what you can do is you can test it locally just for the class purpose. So when you save your work, and then you can go, so this is in which folder, do you know? Did you put it on desktop? Need? It doesn't matter, but where is it? When you find it, then you can right click on it and say open with Chrome, and it's going to open it. Just open it, just this we in the HTML class, so all right, so maybe. Okay, so that's why the easiest thing to do is for now, since we have to keep track of other things, just put it on the desktop, and then later you can open it, right? Or you can put it in a folder, but for now, just put it here. Okay? Also, when you create the name of the file, you don't want to have uppercase and spaces. That's the problem. So let's say this is going to be test1.html. Okay. Is this okay name for you?
Yeah.
Just for now, sure.
Okay.
Okay, and then
Go have it wrong in that slide.
since so there are some issues here. The red, if you see red in brackets, it means you have a problem with your syntax that you need to fix. And then after you fix it, I'll show you how to run it. So for example, if I did something like that, then I see a lot of red because the syntax is not correct. So that's helpful to know. Yeah, and also my TA said, please, if feel free to walk around and if students have questions, so we can move faster. Okay, maybe
I ran this,
there's a question over here, you guys.
but then it wasn't opening.
So you're using W3 schools.
Yes.
So that's so I told you guys to use a local because W3 schools is we're going back and forth between a lot of different environments, but it's not only W3 schools is not only cloud, but it's also they have their own server where they put their stuff. So you cannot use it for a specific purpose of making a change to their stuff in their library, but you can put cloud. Okay, then let's see this one. So if you click here, this one, and then you go back.
Right, that makes sense. Since I
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
See, I still can't find the buttons. Oh.
So looking for you.
the text here, about the structure.
Oh, wait, are you putting it in publication? That doesn't work because you need to put it in the root folder, one directly before it's open.
Code for
So
that.
if you're getting problems, no longer public administration and put it in the root folder.
Well, I can't even, I can't even connect the server.
We can hopefully try to use it. Does this make sense?
So yes, these same folder, right? Yeah, yeah, so then you understand it.
Yeah.
Wow. Big clarification.
Okay, so what we're doing, let me see your next. You look at last time.
No, I'm sorry.
You guys have to try to come to class because we have so many little details that each of these details makes a difference. So this is not the line. Okay, so you put here, there's the name. Then you need to make this only name. I don't have this list for you. And then make this normal. And then you need to get your username and password correct as they are within the EAT account. So in capital, first letter capitals. Try that and it doesn't work.
Okay.
Okay, this did it help? Okay. So what I would like you to do next for this project is let's take the files. So let's go to the File Explorer on the desktop on your local machine. And let's make a new subfolder. Whenever this copyright, whenever this happens, make a new subfolder, and then we can name it because of the way this example is done, just name it. I'm sorry. Name it sub. That's not a good name. It's just my example doesn't really lend itself to good names right now. So name it sub, and that's your new folder. Now we're going to copy or cut and paste HTML and drag it into move it to the subfolder. Contact.html, move it to the subfolder. And products.html and move it to the subfolder. So when you look in your folder now, you only have, so I guess I'll even delete this file to avoid confusion. That's from last time. So now your folder will look like so. Okay. You have an index and then you have a subfolder where your other files are. So now if we try running the index.html again, will our links work? Let's try and find out. No file not found. So what do we need to do to fix this?
Redirect the link.
We need to add the directory name to the link so that the browser can find it. And so what would that look like? So it's going to be sub/. It's going to be sub and then slash products.html, and it's going to be also the same for about and for contact. And let's try now. After you make the change, save and try again and see if this works. And now it works, and if you look on the directory structure, now it's going to say up there sub. So now it's finding the file. It's actually break time. Okay, so after you get this working, let's take our first 10-minute break, and then we are going to learn how to climb back out from one of these pages to the index of HTML. A 10-minute break. All right, so one thing is problem here, but you should use all lowercase for the names. But you need to keep it, the reason this is not working is because you need to have an index of HTML there. You have to get one. So add an index, or just keep names. Just a name from here. Well, then maybe something else, but this one.
Sweet. That's all. If I'm writing the code here, just like a opening code tag, then copy paste it into Notepad. If I open it in Notepad, use a brackets, it'll take the format that's. Okay.
It's
I
not.
just don't want to say a brackets and a Notepad version of my notes.
It should work. Sometimes there are some quirks, but generally it should work. And again, if you're using, don't use Google Docs or Microsoft Word.
Yes, just Notepad.
You get the, thing to work, whatever that is.
Okay.
You need something to have to be in a special file.
Well, it's very unfortunate because usually you can just click here and do the preview, but it's not working.
Oh, okay.
So I have a workaround for us, and this is the workaround. First of all, because those are local files, you don't have to say HTTP. That's only if you're going to like Seattle Central, which is not on your server. So you can do these out. Did you make those files?
You need
You need to make them. But I'll show you how to test it, and then it's not going to work until you make it. You can just save it and put it in the same place, right? Also now throw it, save it, and then think you will put it on the desktop, right?
I do know you have to do it through there. This is the only, this there.
Yeah. I'll give a little step up.
Anything with work?
Right. So it's very. So this is the file here, right? Right. So now we can just right click from here. And it's very long process.
Oh, great, thank you.
Right click and then open with. And then you pick the browser such as Chrome. And that's how you can preview as a workaround because brackets doesn't seem to be working with the preview with Chrome as it should do. Is that, yeah, there is a Chrome. Let's try Firefox. I guess try Edge.
Maybe use that.
I like to use Chrome, but here it's working for this purpose. And now you need to create those files. And when you create them and put them in the same folder, so on the desktop, then they should work. So you can work in this. And then your links will work.
Unless that's not.
I can't even get a question on it. It's really something else too. I'm making a hot out of this place on here.
No, that's what I did. This is what I did, and that we first, it's closed, right, so that lines down. So I'm trying to make it, so it's a way of style. Class. So I think we have something for class. Yes, because of the positions.
Paragraphs on. Okay, so let's continue. So the next thing let's see what we did was we fixed so that now the links work with a subfolder. And now how about what if we wanted to link? So right now we're on the index. Let's open one of the other files, pages, documents. You would also hear the page referred to as document. That's fairly common, so you might hear me call it that. So I'm going to open how about the about page? And now what we want to do is we want to link from the about page. Let's link from the about page to all the other pages, including the index. So we have index, products, and contact. So take a moment before, and I'll show you I'll show you for sure how to do the index, but see if you can figure out how to do this. And maybe what I'll do is I'll do it here, and then you can take a look if you need some help. Questions? Is this working for you? Are you all? So rather than you remove the files. I'm just concerned because of the here, trying to make sure you're looking at. So you know how to make a subfolder. But I would like to see, I'd like to see you as part of the class to follow. So this way I'm not looking. Use it your time.
Or you didn't move the about and context from subfolder, did you?
No, so there's the point. That's why.
That's the point.
That's the point. We only moved we didn't move anything, but the index we just moved the index. And that's why.
Oh,
So let's look at the folder structure. So again, the folder structure always reflects the page structure or the link structure. So if we look at the Web 110, so remember though, right now we are in the About page. So the About page is in here, right? And the products and the contact, they are in the same folder as the About page, and that's why we don't have to qualify the file name with anything. However, the index is not in this folder. And to get to it, we have to say ... which means climb up one, and then there it is. And if we made a subfolder, so let's do this. Create a new subfolder here called sub1, due to lack of a better name, sub1. And then I'm going to move index in the sub1. Then what else would this work now for us? What change do we need to make so this works? So we need to make so ... to climb out of the current directory, and then we need to go inside sub1. So it would look like that, right? Okay. Let's see, what time is it? Let's learn how to add a mail to link so that you can, when someone goes to your website, you can say, email me, and when they click on that link, they'll send you an email.
so
But
we're
you have a
saying this
question.
has the about studies, right?
Yes, this is the about.html. So we can be from the, so it doesn't really, I guess we can, normally this would be done from the contact page. So I guess we can go on the contact page. And then here we're going to say href is equal to, and here, if you want to send an email to someone, we say mail to, column, and then I'll mail myself, email me. And later in the class, we're going to learn how to make forms. So you can email, but you can also create a form that the user can put other content as well. To actually get the form to work properly, you also need a server-side language such as PHP. So we won't learn this in this class, but you'll learn how to create the front end of the form. And then in the PHP class, you'll learn how to get data from the form fields and then put it in a database or just work with them with PHP. But you have to, and that's the other thing, it's very important that you learn HTML and CSS well, because PHP is a whole another level of new information. Okay, so if we save this file, and let's try this out. So email me, and when I click here, that's hilarious. So normally the behavior is when you click email me, it's going to open the default mail application, such as Gmail or whichever it is, but this one doesn't have one. So I can't finish my example. Yeah.
Can you go back to it so I can finish seeing how
Yeah,
the
sure.
ending of the
Okay, so hopefully some of you have, or maybe at least those on the laptop. When you click on your mail link, then it should open an email editor. Right? Is this working for anyone on the lab machines? Or no, laptop?
No, I'm.
Yours should work, so let's see here. Can I see forward? No, it doesn't matter. It should still open the. Might be using a different file. Let's see, where is the file? Even if it's not on the internet, it should still at least prompt you for this mail policy. So,
Did your script now? Yeah, I think it's just a disrupt thing. 'Cause it's
wow.
I don't know, it's not telling me when the address is,
That's very important.
yes.
So what are you trying to do?
I was trying to look this up, so there's what it might about.
So you are.
Did you just lose yours too?
Yeah.
Week 3 is it, what I mean is yours tweaking out now?
It's kind of
What is
slow.
my point?
So,
Okay,
the week 3 is worse fine,
yeah,
And this is how you have done this? Okay.
Yeah.
In the assignment 3 folder. Yeah, so from assignment 3, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, then what you need to do is, you're not climbing up, you're actually climbing down.
Oh, okay.
So it will be sub. It's usually just sub in the other ones.
I think I should go into this.
That should work. This should work. Well, is your folder, okay, let's see. Is your folder structure here the same? Is it code? Yeah. Let's open your subfolder. Wow. No, this should work. Here's some-
So that was the kind of stuff.
But that should work, there is no reason. Okay, it works. Why am I-
Might see if I can-
That's a different question. But this is working. Okay. It's probably the way you link the CSS might not be. Look again at the folders. You need to make sure that your folder structure also reflects how you can describe it on the
Now
page.
it's not enough to me now. Do I have to go and open the backup?
Yeah, probably. I mean, brackets is working in a pretty haphazard way.
Yeah.
So I'll just open it again.
I wonder if it's safe to do.
We can always look from the file explorer first to see where they are. And maybe save them as a backup if you're afraid you might lose them. Yeah. Save it as a backup. Okay, so did this work for anyone? You have,
I mean, no, I didn't get that, no, but I got the
right,
same, yeah.
but you got the idea, right? So it should prompt you and then you can email from here. Okay, let's see what else should we do. How about, let's add another link here to a page, add a link to an external URL. Not one of your own pages. I mean, it doesn't matter, but just to do something different. Go ahead and add a link to Seattle Central, for example. Okay, so let's try this. This is the contact page. So if I click on Seattle Central now, it brings up the page. But then I lost my previous page. And if I want to get to my previous page, I have to click back. However, there is an attribute you can use to make it so that the new page, so that when you have a link, the link opens in a new tab. So this is going to be underscore blank target. So let's go ahead and add this here. On your, it can be on any link, but for our example, we're going to use the seattlecentral.edu, and then you're going to say target equals, so, and then after the href, target, so the target attribute is going to equal to, and it has a few different options. The one we're going to select is underscore blank, or if you're on Notepad, you have to type it yourself, underscore blank. And then save your work. And I'm going to come back to this, to the code just a second. I like to try them out to make sure it works first. So if I go here, contact, and then Seattle Central now, as you can see, we have two tabs. My original contact tab, and Seattle Central, right? So make sure that this works for you.
exactly clear on?
That's because you have to account on each page,
Okay,
so they're not always the same. You have to go on each page and then put the correct links, so they're not all the same because the different pages are in different places.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
so, yeah, okay.
So you just have to do
It
it.
means I just have to find back up, so, like
Yeah.
that.
It's all relative. I have to look at your folder, but that's what you need to do. Based on your folder, on each page it might be different.
That's what I did for my, CSS.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Let's see here. The other thing that seems to be happening is that my Chrome seems to just shut down.
It shut my whole computer down.
Chrome?
Just, yeah, and I had to wait for it to go. I am, but then just the time.
Maybe we should go take this class from the library.
Yeah.
Well, we actually covered the links in a pretty reasonable way. It's just, it would be a lot better if we didn't have to deal with all these other random, semi-random issues. But you're now familiar with links. Pay attention to the folder structure because, like I said, it's very common. Something is not working, and when I take a look, it's because of it's not the page, it's the link or the structure, the relationship between the different pages. So make sure to always check that. And also, if you want to, we have 3 pages, right, or 4 pages. So if you want to go back from another page, then the links may be different. So on each page, you have to create the proper links for that page, right?
Sandy, were you saying that the target blank in your row was supposed to open the web page in a different tab?
Yes, so that's another attribute, the target attribute. It is the same syntax. So the target and then equals, and then quotation mark, underscore blank. Let's see if there is anything else here we need to talk about. Okay. No. Okay. So this is what, if we actually had an email editor installed on one of these machines, that's what it would look like. It would open an email and then you can send an email from there. Here is what we just did, the target equals blank, underscore blank, for opening in a new window or a new tab. Okay, and I think the last topic we have left is when you have a long page, sometimes what you want to do is link from the page maybe to the top, right? You probably have seen this, you have this page with a lot of content and then at the bottom it says go back to top or go back to article. So this is actually also done with links. And it's going to need to use a new attribute called ID. And so what we do is we have, for example, H1 with the ID of, which we assign the name. We assign the name to the ID attribute, in this case, top. And then we create a link that instead of linking to the external web, instead of linking to a page, it's going to link to the ID with the name that we specify here, in this case, top. So let's, I think we have just enough time to do this example as well, and then we'll be done. So for this to actually show us that it's doing something, what we need to do is we need to add a lot of text so that we can see the page actually moving back and forth. First of all, we're going to add an H1, and then we have an ID attribute, which is equal to top. And when you take the JavaScript class, we're going to work with IDs all the time, so get familiar with it now. And so this is the top. Now I'm going to go and grab some lorem ipsum text so that we can fill up the page. So I guess I'll use the Kitten ipsum, but just go ahead and grab some text. Let's see here. Do you remember? Does anyone have a question about what I'm doing right now? Do you remember this I showed you? No? Do you remember? Okay, well, if you have a question, it's on you to raise your hand and ask me because I don't know. I assume if you don't ask a question, you're following along. So it's very important for you to ask questions if you have a question, okay? All right, so I'm going to copy here all this. That should be enough. And then I'm going to put it in a paragraph. And normally you would not put so much text in the same paragraph. But I'm just filling up a lot of text so that at the end of it, I can say, I can create a link to the top. So I'm going to have here, putting it in a paragraph so it's in its own, on its own line. And then I'm going to have href is equal to, and so to specify the ID attribute, you need to say hashtag top. And then you can say here, go back to the top of the page. Okay. So let's try this out, and then I will bring it back up for you to finish. And which page was that? That's the contact. Oh, this is, all right, so actually I need to add more. What I can do is, we can break this into paragraphs so that it takes up more space. So the goal is to add so much space that we are what we call below the fold so we can see it scroll up. And when you're adding paragraphs, they're going to add, spaces. We can also add breaks. I guess that might be quicker. Did we talk whether HTML tags are case sensitive? Did we talk about that? What did I say, or what did we say? They're not actually, it turns out. Most other languages are, you can put the capital, it will still work. Yeah.
How are you putting the text in how are you getting it from?
Lorem ipsum? I just copied with the Control-C.
Well, when I try to.
Control-V. Try Control-V. What did you guys do? How did you fix
Go
it?
to edit, she said I'd go to edit and then click text.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to do this with brackets.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, maybe that's enough. Okay, you know what? I guess we should have made this H1s or something so that we take up bigger. You guys? All right. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and replace. I'm going to replace the P with a H1. Batch replace. So hopefully it replaced all of them. Doesn't look like. All right. It replaced some. It's not doing it for some reason. So if you want to just add a blank line, the tag for that would be break. BR is going to give just a blank line. Let's try this now. So, okay, so I have enough text at least to show you, and then you can, if you like. So here is our page, and this is the top. So this is the top H1 has the ID of top, right? And then we scroll all the way down, we read all these cat text, and then when I click on the go back to the top of the page, that's what it's called, it's an anchor back to the top. And again, to make this work, we have two parts to making it work. One of them is pick the element or the text that you want to go back to and give it an ID. It doesn't have to be top. The ID name can be anything. Well, there's some rules, but generally anything you want. And then you have to either have a link to it from where you want to link from. Does this make sense? Right, so go ahead and try to get this working. And this is our last example for today. And I will see you on, after you finish it, you may go. And obviously, if you wanted to look from top to bottom, it's anywhere on your page. All right, I'll see you Let's see if we have a recording. Pause the recording.